Hello and welcome to the program. The conversation of capping the age to seek political office in Nigeria has once again gained momentum as a bill to impose an age limit for persons contesting for the offices of the president and governor have passed second reading at the House of Representatives. The bill, sponsored by lawmaker representing Idiato North and South Federal Constituency of Imo State, Ike Ugo Chinyere, seeks to amend sections 131 and 177 of the 1999 Constitution. It specifically proposes that individuals aspiring to these top executive positions as the president and governor must not exceed 60 years at the time of contesting elections. Another bill seeking to review the qualifications for contesting for positions of president, vice president, governor and deputy governor was also considered by the lawmakers. If the bills sail through, it will automatically be paid to the ambitions of several politicians who may be aspiring to contest for the post of president or governor in 2027 and beyond. Currently, the Nigerian Constitution stipulates that a presidential candidate must be a Nigerian by birth, a member of a political party, possess a school certificate, and be at least 30 years old. Prior to the Not Too Young to Run Act, signed into law by former President Muhammadu Buhari, the minimum age requirement was 40 for presidential candidates and 35 for governors. Additionally, the proposed legislation introduces a new minimum educational qualification requiring candidates to hold at least a bachelor's degree in their fields of study. This, the lawmakers pointed out, was aimed at refining the leadership selection criteria in order to ensure a more robust governance framework for the country. If this bill is signed into law, it will automatically bar current President Bola Tinubu and presidential hopefuls like Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar from contesting in 2027. Well, let's get reactions to this proposal. I'm joined by political affairs analyst Ayo Ologun. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. Now, what's your reaction to this bill proposing the 60-year age limit for presidents and governors in the country? I mean, is it workable? Is it a workable legislation, especially ahead of the 2027 elections? Because come 2027, quite a number of presidential hopefuls, including the current president, will be affected.
Well, frankly speaking, I think what the National Assembly is trying to do at this time is simply a joke. There is just no way that legislation of limiting age to contest for the office of the governor and president can take effect from 2027, not with a sitting president who is far above that age and, of course, is planning and seeking for a re-election. So there's no way, no matter how good or how serious the intentions are, I can assure you that the process of bringing it into fruition will be frustrated by all means possible, simply because we have a president who is far above that age and is seeking re-election. But beyond the incumbent president's intention to seek re-election and the fact that is far above the age of 60, I don't think it is cosmopolitan. I don't think it is commonsensical. Neither do I think it is in tandem with reality across the world that you limit age of individuals that can contest to the age of 60. Who says that anybody above the age of 60 is not agile? Who says anybody above the age of 60 is not useful? Who says anybody above the age of 60 goes senile? No. You cannot limit people's ability to deliver good governance or leadership simply because they have crossed a particular threshold of age. It does not matter. I think if the National Assembly is looking at other issues, maybe ability to discern, physical fitness, and a lot of other things, that could be reasonable to an extent. But to attempt to gauge or to limit the age of individuals that can contest for the office of the governor and the president to 60 is unrealistic, is undemocratic, and I don't think it should be what should be the priority of the National Assembly at this time. Age does not determine deliverables in governance or leadership. It is about track records and abilities.
All right, now the nation's polity is occupied by people who have always been at the corridors of power amid a public outcry against this pattern. Considering the timing of this proposal, could this be a tactic to see them out of power? I mean, disenfranchise them from further seeking political offices?
Well, it's a tactic. What I want to believe was intended by a few individuals who are trying to sell that idea to the generality of the National Assembly. But like I said earlier, I don't see it flying. It will not fly. As it stands today, the major contenders or the ones that we are already hoping will contest this election, majority of them are far above the age of 60. The incumbent is above the age of 60. Atiku is an hopeful for the office of the presidency is over 60. Peter Obi is over the age of 60. We can go on and on. So I don't see these. There should be other things. There should be other reforms that we can bring to fruition in our democratic journey. But to attempt to stop these individuals is an attempt, but I don't see that attempt as being fruitful, not in 2027, not anytime soon. And personally, I want to believe that those who are intending that might be thinking is an opportunity to stop some certain individuals from contesting. But I tell you, it will not see the light of the day. It's just an effort in futility. Such energy should be directed into other electoral reforms that can give us feasible results other than trying to limit the age of people that can contest elections.
Now, regarding the dynamics, a lot of Nigerians have attached age to performance. I mean, there's an impression that the ability for public officers to perform optimally is a function of strength, both physically and mentally. And let's also consider complaints about the current political class that they say are out of touch with current reality, which they say it's a huge that's a huge detachment.
Well, I want to believe and maybe share to some extent the opinion of those who feel that occupation of public office has to do with mental ability and strength. But medicine and history have shown that mental capacity and physical strength has nothing to do with age. There are 70, 80-year-old individuals that are intellectually alert more than even a 30, 35-year-old man. There are people that are over the age of 70 that are technologically savvy compared to 25, 30, 35 people of that age. And when you talk about physical strength, have we not seen 40-year-old individuals getting ill? Have we not seen less than 40 and slightly above 40 having stroke? Have we not seen less than 40 and a little over 40 slumping in public events or even in their private homes and dying? And yet we have people that are over the age of 80 who can still walk, run, and even do sports. So all of this is about grace. It's about what God enables individuals to do, and maybe by the virtue of how they have used themselves in younger age, how they have taken care of their health, and how they have ensured that they have remained physically fit. So you cannot judge by saying, oh, a 60-year-old man will not be mentally alert. It's a fallacy. You can have a mentally alert 80-year-old man. You can have a physically alert 80-year-old man. You can have a very technologically savvy person at the age of 80. So any attempt for any individual to want to limit that is an impression that will not fly.
But let's look at the Not Too Young to Run Act for the National Assembly that was signed into law by former President Muhammadu Buhari, which places the minimum age requirement at 40 for presidential candidates and 35 for governors. Would you say that that legislation has had any significant impact since it was enacted?
Well, that legislation is a good one for a start. And I want to believe it has enabled a lot of young people to aspire for political offices. But I want to hope that instead of thinking of limiting the age of contestant for the office of governor and president to the age of 60, I think the National Assembly should rather review downwards the age by which people can contest for the office of the president. Limiting age to contest for the office of the president to 40 is not realistic, is not in tandem with recent tendencies across the world, and it's undemocratic. It should be reviewed downward. We have people that are less than the age of 40 that are president of other nations. The president of France was not 40 when he assumed office, and a number of other nations have under 40 as presidents. So why should Nigeria limit, in the name of not too young to run, still limit the age to contest the office of the president to 40? So rather than putting energy or strength in limiting the age of a contestant to the age of 60 for the office of governor and president, I think there should be an improvement on what was achieved under former President Muhammadu Buhari by the National Assembly through the Not Too Young to Run bill, by ensuring that the not too young to downwards to enable even a 25-year-old young man or young woman contest for the office of the president. We have 25 ODA men and women that are multiple degree holders, that are PhD holders. So if such individuals can attain such academic feats at such age, who says that they do not have the mental, physical, and character to manage a nation or a state? So I want to see a National Assembly that will improve on the Not Too Young to Run bill by reducing the age by which individual. Look, our constitution is clear. The moment you are 18 and above, you are eligible to vote. So you should be eligible to be voted for. So the issue of limiting it to 25, 30, 35, or 40 should not even arise. If our constitution says that by the age of 18, you are legally mature and you can vote. If you can vote for people, then nothing should stop other people from also voting for you, even at the age of 18. I think that barrier should be removed. It's an improvement, no doubt, by the introduction of the Not Too Young to Run bill, but I believe it can be further reviewed downwards to enable individuals above the age of 18 to contest to be anything that they can aspire to be in this country.
Mr. Ologun will take a short break and continue this conversation afterwards. Do stay with us. The program will return shortly.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello, Alhaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello, Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I will just call you. Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we're in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you're raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. We're still discussing the proposed 60-year age limit for presidents and governors in Nigeria, and political affairs analyst Ayo Ologun is still with us on the program. Now, Mr. Ologun, you look at what's on ground right now. Are you convinced that the youth, that the younger generation in the country are ready to take up leadership in Nigeria's polity?
Look, I have always believed that leadership is not served a la carte. Nobody gives power. You either hand power or you struggle for it. And young people of this nation have chosen and they have proven that they are not just capable, but they are able to hold public offices. Go around most of the states in the Southwest. What you see is young people less than the age of 30, some of them less than 35, being members of the House of Assembly. The Speaker of the Oyo State House of Assembly, the Speaker of the Osun State House of Assembly, these are individuals that are well above the age of 40. I think the two of them are even below the age of 35. And they are doing well comparatively, if you want to put it on an aggregate of analysis. And under them, we have 20-something, 25, 26, 27, 28 young men and women that are members of the House of Assembly. The same thing for Kwara. So if these individuals have struggled and they have proven that they have the capacity to lead, nothing should limit them. The young people of this nation have proven they have capacity to not only rule Nigeria, but rule the world. We have under 30s that are CEOs of different blue chip companies in and around the world that are Nigerians. So if they have been able to do it in the private sector, I want to believe that nothing, absolutely nothing, should stop them in achieving the place of leadership or assuming the place of leadership in the public space.
There's also the educational requirement. The lawmakers are proposing a new minimum educational qualification, requiring candidates to hold at least a bachelor's degree in their fields of study. Will this also make a difference in governance if passed into law?
Well, surprising as it could be to some people, I also do not agree to the fact that there should be a minimum level of education. People don't lead. The ability to lead and to deliver good governance has nothing to do with education. We have had doctorate degree holders in this country that have been given the privilege of leadership in public space, and they have messed it up. They turned out to be criminals, they turned out to be thieves. They turned out to not even have an iota of an idea of how to rule a state, a local government, or a nation. And whereas in the history of this country, had people who have no contact with the four walls of the university that have also shown that they have the character, the capacity, through native intelligence to lead. Until much more later, the president and founder of Afenabula University did not have a formal education through the four walls of the university. He practically taught himself through correspondence through school. We've also had individuals that have had no touch of education and have been local government chairmen, have been at different levels. And look, public office should be such that there should be no limitation. If you want to put level of educational qualification for attaining appointment into office or by getting into the civil service, all of that is understood. But when it comes to public service through election, it should be the duty of the people to elect who they believe can lead them, irrespective of age or academic qualification. Look, it should be thrown open. If Nigerians feel that a school certificate failed person would give them better leadership than a PhD holder, so be it. It is within the right of choice of Nigerians. That is what democracy entails. There should be no limitation as to what age a person must get to before he contests, so long as matured enough by the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and there should be no limitation on to what minimum education you must have to lead. I don't think leadership has anything to do with education background or education qualification. It is about the choice of the people per time as to who they believe can deliver good governance as desired by them.
Finally, before I let you go, Mr. Ologun, at the campaign for constitution amendment, generally, quite a number of bills have scaled second reading. However, one of the bills was stopped, and that's the immunity clause, which sought to strike out immunity for the president, vice president, governors, and their deputies. On that note, what should be the primary focus of the National Assembly in terms of accountability and transparency in governance?
Well, for the record, let me say that I'm an advocate of a total overhaul of the present Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We cannot continue to review and review and review. What we need at this time is a total overhaul of the Constitution, and that would mean that the people of Nigeria, so properly called, should come together in a conference and determine by what constitution they would be led. That's by the way. We're talking about the different bills that have been flying around in the National Assembly, particularly the issue of immunity clause for governors, their deputies, and president and deputy president and vice president. A lot of these individuals has abused over time the privilege made available by the provision of that clause of the Constitution that granted them immunity. I want to believe that perhaps if there is anyone that deserves immunity as it's presently formed, it should be the president and the vice president. The vice president, because if anything happens to the president, he or she can step in to perform the role of the president. Well, I am an advocate that immunity should be stripped of governors and deputy governors. A number of them are criminals in court. They have criminal records. Many of them were already declared wanted before they assumed office. But because they're able to maneuver their way to win election and get sworn in, the law, by the provision of the Constitution, protects them. And then, before you know it, they use the influence of that office to tear apart whatever evidences is accruable on them prior to the time they are assumed office. So I want to advocate that the immunity clause should be stripped of governors and deputy governors, and maybe for the purpose of clarity and dedication to duty, it should only be retained for the president and the vice president. I'm talking about accountability. Look, leadership and governance begins with trust. There is a big gap of trust between the elected officials of the National Assembly and the people of this country. An average Nigerian do not hold any iota of respect for members of the National Assembly because of things that have come out or the odor that have oozed out of that allo chamber in recent times. A lot of Nigerians have lost confidence. So even if anything would be done by the National Assembly that will be acceptable, the first thing they need to do is to rearrange themselves, is to reorganize themselves, and begin to build confidence between the National Assembly and the people. It is only when the people believe in their representative and believe in who are the National Assembly and the things coming from them. It is only then that they can have the support of the people, and it is only then that they can boldly say that whatever law is promulgated by the National Assembly is made by the people, for the people, and supported by the people.
Mr. Ayo Ologun, it's been great having you on the program. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on these issues. But that's how much we have on this episode of the program. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.